state party. There are some disagreements on social issues, not on goals, but on some of the methods. But if we want to be a party that can run and win in states that Ronald Reagan won, New York, California, Connecticut, New Jersey, Washington, Oregon, states we haven't won in a long, long time, and states in which we don't even campaign any longer, we're going to have to take a really good look at what made up the Reagan coalition. It was a broad outreach, an inclusive one, not one that kept people away.
Congressman Paul, many of your supporters call themselves 9/11 truthers. They believe that the U.S. government was in some way complicit with the 9/11 attacks or covered it up. Are you tonight prepared to either embrace that rhetoric or ask those supporters to abandon it or divorce themselves from your candidacy?
Well, I can't tell people what to do, but I've abandoned those viewpoints. I don't believe that, and that's all. That's the only thing that is important. And so I don't endorse anything they say, but I would like to take an opportunity to talk about the issue that we've been debating here for the last 20 minutes.
Sir, would you ask them to cease that rhetoric? Would you ask them to cease that rhetoric tonight on your behalf?
Well, it doesn't do me any good, so if they care about me, they should. But the only thing I have control over is what I believe and what I say. I can't tell them what to do, so I don't endorse what they say, and I don't believe that. So please, could I participate in the current debate rather than picking this out?
Please do. Please do.
No, I would like to address the subject about whether or not we've lost our way and whether there's a coalition building or whether it's gone. I think it's gone. I don't think we're fiscal conservatives anymore. Look at what we've done over these last 10 years. We finally got control of the government, and we became big government people. Our deficit's out of control, and we no longer are opposed to new entitlements. We are entitlement people. And then we turn around and we talk about liberty, and we've undermined the Fourth Amendment and personal liberty and personal privacy. In the year 2000, we won the election by condemning the Democrats for nation building and policing the world. And now, what are we doing? We're policing the world. We're involved in all these countries around the world and threatening going into Iran and in Pakistan and on and on. At the same time, our economy is suffering to the point where we can't even finance what we have here today. We have to borrow from the Chinese, and the dollar is crashing. So no wonder our coalition is breaking up. We actually have lost our way. Now, over the years, I've never voted to spend 1 penny of the Social Security Fund because I'm a fiscal conservative. If you want the Social Security system to work, get people who will vote against robbing the Social Security Fund.
Thank you, Congressman Paul. It is time for a break, but when we come back, we're going to take a look at the Middle East and have some questions about other world hotspots right after these messages. Stay tuned. Back from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Candidates, let's begin this round by talking about Iran. Governor Huckabee, did the American commander in the Strait of Hormuz the other day make the right decision by responding passively when approached aggressively by Iranian fast boats believed to be from the Revolutionary Guards? He also received, as you know, a warning that said that the American ships might be about to blow up. Did he make the correct call, sir?
I'm going to trust that the president, with the information that he had and that those commanders had, made the right decision. I think we need to make it very clear, not just to the Iranians, but to anybody, that if you think you're going to engage the United States military, be prepared not simply to have a battle, be prepared first to put your sights on the American vessel, and then be prepared that the next thing you see will be the gates of hell. For that is exactly what you will see after that.
But sir, in this instance, the American warships. In this instance, however, the American warships were approached in a way that the commander said that he found provocative, indeed aggressive. They also received a warning that suggested that the American ships might be blown up and things were thrown into the water. They didn't know what they were. They did nothing. Now, are you prepared to say, after what you just said about these people being ready to face the gates of hell, that that was the right call?
I believe that those commanders, hopefully, and I believe they do have the judgment to make in those split-second decisions.
So you support that?
I support them having that capacity. That's what we train them for. And they have lives of Americans at stake on those boats. And they ultimately have our lives at stake if they take the wrong decision and give the Iranians or anybody the idea that America is a nation that you can kick sand in our eyes. I think it's very important that we make it crystal clear that we will have the most powerful, the best trained, the best equipped military on the face of the planet that has ever existed. And we hopefully will have one that no one wants to engage in battle, but we'll make it clear that if they do, there'll be a severe price to pay for engaging it.
Senator Thompson, same question to you. Right call?
Yeah, I think so. I think I agree with the governor on that. You can't take the judgment like that out of the hands of the officers on the ground there. I think one more step, and they would have been introduced to those virgins that they're looking forward to seeing. Iran was clearly testing us. They took British hostages under similar circumstances. It proceeded, obviously, much past what happened to us. But they're testing our resolve. They know that they're dealing with a nation that's not going to put up with that sort of thing. But it's some insight as to the way that they're thinking. I think the Revolutionary Guard now has taken over from the regular military force with regard to those speedboats and so forth. So they're going to get a little bit more frisky. But they need to understand that if they cross the line, they're going to be destroyed.
Mr. Mayor, what do you think?
Well, this really should give us some sort of indication that the NIE should not be interpreted as, the National Intelligence Estimate, where it was suggested that possibly Iran had stopped their nuclear program in 2003, high confidence that they stopped it in 2003, only moderate confidence that they haven't continued it. I think an incident like this reminds us that we shouldn't be lulled into some false sense of confidence about Iran. We have to be very focused on the fact that Iran should not be allowed to become a nuclear power. We should make it very, very clear that we're not going to allow that. And we should go to every country that we can think of to impose serious sanctions on Iran. There are also indications that there are economic problems within Iran itself, domestic difficulties in Iran. We've seen some conflict between some of the leaders there. Maybe by using this incident and the fact that Iran certainly shouldn't be seen as benign, as some people saw it when they tried to spin the NIE as suggesting that maybe we were being too serious about Iran. It would seem to me that this incident should wake a lot of people up.
Senator McCain, you've been a naval commander. This group, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, has been designated a terrorist organization. They made an aggressive and provocative approach to our warships. There was no certainty they weren't about to set off bombs. What would you have done as the commander?
I would have placed my confidence in the captains of those ships.
Well, what if you had been the captain? What would you have done?
If I'd have been the captain of the ship, I probably would have assessed the situation as it was at the time. And for those of us who were not in that situation, to second guess is a little bit presumptuous. It's a long, hard process to become the commander of a Navy ship. These are the most professional and well-trained and capable people in the world. And since our beginning days as an independent nation, we've had conflicts over the issue of freedom of the seas, dating back to the Barbary pirates, dating back to World War I when German U-boats were sinking U.S. maritime ships, to the led to the outbreak of World War II as well. I agree with Rudy. Maybe the Iranians think we're weaker because of the NIA. Maybe the Iranians aren't really slowing their export of most lethal explosive devices into Iraq. And I believe the President of the United States made the right statement. He told them that we will preserve the fundamental principle of freedom of the sea, and he will do what's necessary in order to preserve it. So I believe these people these commanding officers made the right decision, and I believe that we entrusted their ships and the lives of the people under them in the most appropriate fashion. But don't think that this wasn't a serious situation of the utmost seriousness in one of the most important waterways in the world because of so much of the world's oil goes through there. The Iranians better understand that the United States will stick to its many years-long tradition of preserving the fundamental principle of freedom of the seas.
Congressman Paul, what if this happens again?
I would certainly urge a lot more caution than I'm hearing here tonight. It reminds me of what happened in the Gulf of Tonkin. We went to a war there, then later on found out there was a lot of false information. So here we have, let's put it in perspective, we have 5 small speedboats attacking U.S. Navy with a destroyer. They could take care of those speedboats in about 5 seconds. And here we're ready to start World War III over this.